Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to my channel. This is Pernell Bobby, your local sexologist. This is a new name I'm deeming. This is how I want to, in this stage of my life, because I am a Scorpio Rising, one of the reasons you're here, this is how I'm choosing to identify until that begins to transform, die, and be reborn again like the Phoenix. So you're here, and the reason you want to subscribe is because you literally want to create an absolutely incredible sex life. And in order to do that, we need to learn how to be more bold, more expressive, and more brutally honest in our own individual and unique approach to our relationships, romantic, platonic, and business, all right? Each one of these has an impact in our sex life. So in order to create a sex life that is just absolutely incredible, understand that it's not necessarily about trying this new trick out in the bedroom, or trying to imitate something maybe you saw on the porn, or it's none of that. It's the more collective approach to what makes you, for this video specifically, Scorpio Ascendant, Scorpio Risings, or Taurus with a 7th house in their descendant, what makes you unique, and how to follow your unique and your intuitive strategy in order to start having more sacred sexual connections, all right, and less flip-flopping, to attract less people in your life who is not willing to balance out that give-receive dynamic. So if you're a Scorpio Rising, you're a Scorpio Ascendant, this is critical for you. I take a lot of joy in this because, again, I am a Scorpio Rising myself, Aries Sun, Aries Moon, so that's a lot of energy from Mars, and this is where I want to really start. I'm going to talk about the Scorpio Rising in the 1st house, all right, or the Ascendant, and we're going to talk about the 7th house as for Taurus, all right. You're going to have a Descendant in Taurus. This is going to speak about some of the shadow aspects of what you may not fully know you want in a romantic relationship when you're dating and sexing, or exploring your sexuality, which Scorpio is tremendous at doing. One of the best, if I will say, not because I'm a Scorpio Rising, but because of the archetype of the Scorpion and its desire, keyword desire, coming from Pluto and Mars, to go deep being part of Pluto, and not just deep, but when I think of deep, I don't think like this deep dark hole. I think of depth, all right. The hidden motivations underneath the first couple layers need to be discovered, all right. So I think of deep. When I say deep, I say depth. This is for Scorpio Rising. So if you're watching this, you're Scorpio Rising, Scorpio Ascendant, you fully resonate with this. Even if you're a Taurus Rising and you're watching this, or a Taurus Descendant, when I say you still rock with this, because it's just a yin yang, it's just a flip flop. So here we go, let's dive in. It's your local sexologist on new term, first video. All you guys, if you like the term, drop down a Scorpio sign below, drop a little Scorpio emoji below, and definitely check out my sexual energy breath workshop. All right, I'm doing this on the Aries full moon. This will be October 17th, so if you catch this video afterwards, too bad for you, but I'm going to teach you how to find and locate your sacral chakra, as well as take your breaths, all right, and move that sacral chakra instead of outside of your body, up your spine, in order to transmute that God force energy that you're able to create a baby with up into different areas, whether it's your heart chakra, focusing on compassion, focusing on release and forgiving, which is Scorpio Rising, Scorpio Ascendant. You need that. If you want to create a incredible sex life, you need to allow your heart to heal. Because think about it, we go through so many transformations that, there's always a little bit of grief left over, because we're so intensely deep with all the things that we decide to do. We're so attached from it from a soul level, for all the people that we really, really care for, especially romantic partners, especially love interest. What happens is there's a lot of resentment that can be left over, especially as a water sign who can be really nostalgic. And Scorpio Rising, if you want to create a better sex life, what I need to admit for myself is, what relationships have I held on to for far too long? What relationships have I allowed to die and transform, but really not all the way, okay? There's just that one little piece I'm holding on to. So this is critical for Scorpio Rising to recognize in your life. The question you can write, I want to have you, even if you type this answer down in the chats, in the live chat below, because I'm going to premiere this, I want you to type in the chat real quick, if you're watching this, what haven't I let go yet that's holding me back, all right? So what haven't I let go yet that's holding me back? That's the question. I want you to write the answer down below. Share with another Scorpio Rising, Scorpio Ascendant. The reason being because I think it'd be absolutely critical. So let's get to, what does a Scorpio Rising or Ascendant need in their sex life in order for it to feel really devout, which is a key word for Scorpio. They really want a devout love. They want devotion and love. They want dedication and the ability for somebody to stick through the tumultuous time. What you need is a lot of what your Taurus 7th house Ascendant is asking for, and it's for a grounded, stable partnership. The reason being is, if you're a Scorpio Rising, you go through a lot of emotional turmoil, you go through a lot of psychological fucking disruptions, and it forces your psyche to continuously transform, to continuously be reborn. And understand that your psyche is working directly in the space of how you identify with yourself. So this transformation process, if you're listening to this right now, you may identify with yourself as somebody who just can't fucking die. And this is the reality of Scorpio. You can't die. All right, you think of yourself as Wolverine almost, who no matter if you cut the motherfucker in half or not, like, he's gonna find a way to heal. One half probably won't heal, but he'll heal from the side that does regenerate, right? So think of yourself as Wolverine. Like, you can't really die. I mean, I guess you could theoretically decapitate him. However, it's like, you know, good luck getting through the extra defenses of the adamantine to make that actually be able to happen, right? So think of yourself like this. You know, you have an automatic defense mechanism that actually begins to, in my personal opinion, hold back you from more fulfilling bonds, hold me back from more fulfilling bonds, more deep and psychological, spiritual connections that are formed in the physical world. All right, so this is critical. I'm going to repeat that because if you're Scorpio Rising or Scorpio Ascendant, especially with that Taurus and 7th house, this is something critical. I want to repeat that. Scorpio, in my opinion, if I was to relate this to the 7 chakras, the heart chakra in the middle is the one that forms the lower world, which is, you know, your basic needs at the ground chakra, your basic survival needs. Then it goes into where I look at like the Taurus chakra, which is like your sacral chakra, the orange chakra point. This is like your joy, your pleasure, right? And also the space of your relationships. If those joys and pleasures, the hedonistic things that you enjoy, are not balanced, then your relationships will suffer. All right. This is like equating to a unbalanced give-take in the amount of joy you are giving your partner, especially sexually. You know, are you someone who is always looking to please your partner, but you know your partner's not pleasing you in the same way? It's important to remember as a Scorpio Rising that Mars and Pluto are your governing bodies, right? And they represent desire, you know, primitive, raw fucking passion and desire and action, all right? Now. So what that means is, you know, it's okay to sit there and tell a woman, like, look, like, especially if it's somebody you know you're with on a committed level, it's like, and be bold with it. Like, I want you to suck my dick, and just be bold with it. You know, I think not enough of us are able to be expressive, and we may look at that as, it's like, oh, like I'm dominating, or I'm unfairly speaking something that, you know, if I thought it, I can't really express it. But you're feeling that. So, you know, do that and recognize that the woman in that moment, especially again, if you're in a committed relationship, I'm not telling you to go up to some random Joe Snow Scorpio and be like, yo, suck my dick. Like, that's rude. That's rude as fuck. But if you find yourself in a committed space, if you find yourself with a partner who you know on that soul level you are already attached to, recognize that that partner will really adore allowing themselves to be submissive to something like that. Because the Scorpio has two things happening with it in the sex life, all right? In the sex and dating life, two main things. It is domain and it is submission, all right? What a Scorpio may never admit is the submissive parts of them, right? They may not fully admit that, like, they want to be submissive, okay? This is where, like, the BDSM kind of shit kind of can pop in, but they want to be submissive. They just can't do that with anybody, all right? And the reason is because they are private, all right? We need to get away from the narrative that Scorpios are secretive. Scorpios are private, and they're private for a specific reason. They are always researching and trying to figure out the next part of their own psychological process, their own emotional depth, with brutal honesty. In order to be brutally honest, they need to understand, keyword, their feelings and the depth that they're more likely recently discovering, because it's always a recent discovery process. They need to understand that prior to beginning to communicate that with you. And a lot of times they may not verbally communicate with that with you. It depends on where your Mercury way sit. So like for me, my Mercury sits in Aries, where it's like, it's a very expressive, blunt, honest, bold sign, which could still avoid some deeper emotional shit, if I'm being honest. But with the combination, I think, of the Scorpio, it gives me the courage as well to slice through my own fears and to express what I want, what I need. So I want to say this again, in your sex life, this is important to express to your partner that you're not secretive, okay? You need to get this narrative out. It's like people calling Virgos perfectionists. No, they're not perfectionists. Watch my Virgo Rising video right here, and you'll notice, I think I say in there at one point, they're not perfectionists. They're involved with constant improvement, all right? So I won't go further than that because you're a Scorpio, but recognize that for this, you're not secretive, all right? You are private. And in your privacy, only a very select few people get to experience what it feels like to transform their darker parts of their mind. Your day in a Scorpio rising, this is going to be something you want to listen to as well. They need to understand. They need to understand first and be able to strategize, even because it's a strategist. How can they begin to express this? And understand that their expression usually comes, as sad as it may sound, it's really not, because it's part of our job, from their deepest pains, and it comes from their deepest traumas, which takes a tremendous amount of time to dissect and research and evolve enough to the point, evolve the understanding for ourselves enough to the point where we can be less private with a select few, usually one person, maybe three, I don't know, but it ain't a lot, all right? Because it recognizes a lot of the superficial friendships, right? This is the step after Libra. Libra has a lot of superficial friendships and a lot of friendships it keeps up because it cares about harmony more than anything else. Scorpio does not give a fuck about harmony more than anything else, all right? Scorpio is a goddamn blood warrior, right? The two colors that represent Scorpio is like dark maroon and like bloodshot red, right? So Scorpios are like a blood warrior. It's like we don't fear or shy away from the deeper, darker, more dangerous, even gory parts of life, right? We want all that smoke. So this is important to understand. If you're involved romantically with their Scorpio, you're involved romantically with the Scorpio Rising or Ascendant, and understand that 7th house in Taurus, which I'm going to start kind of shifting gears to, is grounded and stable enough as a part of you in your one-on-one 7th house, one-on-one significant relationships, 7th house in Taurus, which is a grounded earthly sign, which takes care of its basic necessities, its food, its shelter, its home, all right, agriculture, which is part of the food, as well as emotional stability within itself, and also being able to set its sights, make a plan for its hedonistic pleasures, all right? Like Taurus is a very hedonistic sign, as well as that counts any resource, money. So these are the things that you're going to find yourself attracted to. You're going to find yourself attracted to in partners who really, quite frankly, they got money, they got bank, they got somebody, you got somebody who is secure in their matters of money. So if you're Scorpio rising right now, I can tell you right now, if you are dating somebody, man or woman, wouldn't matter, who the partner is insecure extremely about money, it's going to be a fucking turn off. It's going to be a turn off because your 8th house, right? So your 8th house is shared resources, taxes, using other people's money to better transform their money into something bigger. You're a mastermind strategist when it comes to investments. So what you need on the opposite end of the 7th house Taurus Descendant is somebody who is really able to make, not just make the money, because it's not about making the money. You don't have to have a person with money right now, but somebody who's definitely secure around matters and topics of money. Because if they're not, you're going to find yourself basically carrying more of the load that you're not designed to do. You're designed to transform other people's assets and their resources. You're not designed to sit here and have to babysit those resources in a way where that person is not secure, because Taurus is a secure sign. If anything, Taurus is where our self-esteem is built. If Aries is the baby, the first zodiac sign, coming in, it's like, look, I just got to explore and I want new things and I'm fucking curious and I'm going to make a whole bunch of mistakes as I explore my identity. Now that the identity explored, Taurus is the second sign of resources and self-worth. All right, so Taurus is in a space where now you've already did your exploration, you know what you like already, which is why it moves from the cardinal sign of Aries that pushes forward to the fixed sign of Taurus, which is like, I'm solid. This is what I want. Here's the plan to do it. I'm not gonna move yet because Aries, we already did that in our previous zodiac sign. So I'm not gonna push forward because Aries, if anything, they didn't decide what they wanted because they really only wanted the exploration. Taurus no longer just wants the exploration. Taurus wants to achieve with a plan, methodically and practically on Earth sign, a grounded approach to, like a bull, set its sights on something before it decides to move forward. Because again, a bull, you know, it only has so much stamina, you feel me? So it recognizes that like it won't really want to move until it understands where it's going. And you're gonna need partners like that. You're gonna need partners who really don't want to move or try to do some super duper impulsive shit like an Aries would. I'm an Aries. Check out this full moon Aries video. Not the video, but the workshop down in the link below if you're still watching this with me. It's a breath workshop teaching how to bring this Taurian hedonistic energy up the spine and to heal different parts, to open up your imagination and your pineal gland, to open up your throat chakra, get you to start communicating and creating that masterpiece that you've always thought of. So understand that this is the descendant of Taurus, the 7th house of the Scorpio rising. You're gonna need this partner who is stable, all right? Who is secure, whose self-esteem is just fucking solid. Because otherwise what you do is you'll find yourself, and I found myself just babysitting. I found myself in karmic relationships later tonight. I don't know when I'm gonna put this video up, but I'm gonna go live on karmic relationships. So you can check this live stream of mine. Thank you all again for helping me get to this 1,000 subscribers. Being able to go live, it's been critical. It's been better for me to interact, where I almost don't even want to do these videos anymore, where I'm doing this and have memory and save that. I'm just like, yo, just throw me on live because I want to interact with the people, but I also want to give you the information that you can seek when it's time for you. So Scorpio rising, if you're here, you know that. There is a critical thing now I want to discuss for Scorpio rising in order to create that incredible sex life, to leverage astrology doing it, and to hear it from your local sexologist, baby. I got to get comfortable saying that. So don't mind me while I step into my new identity, my transformed phoenix. Rebirth, baby. Here's the important part. Scorpio, you need to, all the things that you discover in the depths of your own mind, the depths of the hidden motivations of the people you share your resources with, all right, because you are partially linked to the 8th house, your resources with, understand that what's critical for you is when you do discover some hidden motivations, it's time for you to, oftentimes what you'll do is you'll transmute your feelings into the physical world through sex, all right, through expression of your sexuality and actually through the act of sex itself. This is critical to understand. So what happens is, you take the psychological and the spiritual, the soul deep, intense as magnetic attraction that you and the other person more likely than not has with you. You take that intangible, unseen, metaphysical shit, because I think of you as the gateway. You're like the heart chakra. So we talk about the lower chakras on the bottom, but the top 3 chakras are all the spiritual, unseen things, right? The Aj and the third eye, being able to see through imaginations. The crown chakra is like the understanding of all things. You can't touch that, right? Expression, you can't touch expression. You can argue that in a different way, but you feel me? Creativity, you can't touch that unless it's physically manifested. But in the thought space, you can't. So what's important for you is Scorpio rising, to really kind of create that incredible sex life. It's important for you to understand this. You need somebody, when it's that one committed one, you need that one committed one to be able to hold it down for you, to be able to help you to manage your emotionally disruptive nature, all right? I want to say it like that, your emotionally disruptive nature, because you are a water sign, Scorpio. So your emotions run deeper than deep. I think your emotions run deeper than all other zodiacs. Like Cancer may be able to fully understand emotions, but it's still a cardinal sign. It's still one of the first 4 zodiacs. So I think people get Cancer fucked up because they think that it cares about everybody else. In reality, Cancer is a super fucking individualistic sign, all right? I have a Cancer and Mars. You can feel free to check the Cancer and Mars video if you're here and you're a Cancer and Mars. But recognize that, like, Cancer is still an individualistic sign. Scorpio, however, it is an interpersonal sign in the middle of the four zodiac, which means that it needs other people. As much as it won't want to admit that, it needs other people, and it wants that one other somebody. It wants to devote itself fucking through and through. And in order to do that, what you need is somebody who can help to ground all of your extra fucking chaos. So what I had to learn in my own relationships is, how did I karmically in my relationship show up as the babysitter? Which means now that I had no time to focus on my own shit, I had no time to focus on my own problems, because I was so focused on trying to heal and fix other people's problems. I have a fixer video that I went up live on about the 5-1, this is in the Gene Keys, the 5-1 fixer, which is like, the person who, Scorpios, you have that energy, you have that healing energy. People are drawn to you like a fucking magnet because they know that just being in your presence, you are healing. Even if you're not talking to them, just being around you, being in your presence, they get healing. But it's time for you to start putting up them barriers. So if you want a better sex life, you need to start putting up the barriers and not attract all these loose cannons who just need healing from you. Because however you may be regenerative from the power of Pluto, giving you this regeneration Wolverine type power, where you can just keep healing and keep being reborn like the Phoenix. What I had to recognize for myself is, you also don't allow yourself to leave that flat line, all right? And I've recognized really importantly how much it sucks to be at that flat line. Like, you may be stable, you may be making money, but you may have a good wife or a good husband, but you're not really leaving this, you're not really going down, you're not really going up. But I think this is the shit spot, right? You're just stagnant. And, Scorpio is going to always have to continue to transform no matter what it wants to do. So as a part of that, that stagnancy can be very brutal. So you need somebody who is willing to build. That's where that Taurus 7th house comes in. Earth sign, they're willing to build. They're willing to take help you to redirect some of all of your metaphysical unseen elements that you've discovered as a part of your psyche, even in how you want to date, the type of partners you want. They're here to help you take that and bring it into physical reality, to manifest that love that you want. Like, I know Scorpios will believe that, like, you know what, love just might not be for me. Like, I might be destined to not love it. And it's like, don't let that gaslighting of others, don't let the other narcissists in your life to take you out and take you away from one of the strongest and most beautiful vibrations in the world, which is love. All right, don't let them take you away from that. And on the opposite end, don't prioritize love so much that you self-sacrifice all of your own personal growth, evolution, and transformation, the rebirth, because you're still holding on to that memory, you're still holding on to that partner. And I know water signs, we suck at this. Like, I can't lie to you, like, I hold on to the thoughts of people for way too long, and it's debilitating. And I'm here to, like, help you create a better sex life by recognizing that you need to create some space. Now, here's the next point. I got a lot to say about this, probably more than my rest, because I am a Scorpio rising. And my next point now is, for the Taurus 7th house and the Descendant, what's important to recognize is, when do you choose security, which is the Taurus's #1 priority? When do you choose security over a healthy relationship? All right. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is, a Taurus, they care about security so much that they will choose unhealthy partners, unhealthy relationships. They will recognize, because they're very perceptive, right? Taurus has the perceptivity of a Scorpio, but here on Earth, right? So Scorpio can see shit that is unseen and just magical. They can feel energies around them, whether it's their ancestors or there's angels, or even if there's fucking bad guys, bad girls, there's Decepticons in spirit form, right? Not everything is quote unquote good or bad. First off, it all just is, they just exist, but not everybody has the best intentions for you. So Scorpio can see perceptively all that shit that's unseen, and you could begin to protect your partners from a spiritual level. But Taurus on the opposite side is all about the physical world, the physical pleasures, all right? And they can see what is good for them, or what's unhealthy for them, or what is jeopardizing what makes them feel secure, whether emotionally or even physically, especially. They have the 5 senses: touch, smell, taste, sight, right? They have those 5 senses that help them ground in the physical reality. So what I'm saying behind this is you need that partner who is very sensual. You need that partner who loves pleasure, all right, who loves to be pleased and loves to please without falling into the unhealthy habits, without falling into codependency, all because you want the security of the money of that partner, or you want the security of the home that that partner provides, or you want the security of not even feeling lonely, right? Because Scorpios, you live a very lonely path, so you might attract partners that make you not feel lonely, even if it's temporary, because it makes you feel secure from some level. But it's time to also recognize when do you allow that, when do I allow that to go too long? And this is a big, really recent lesson that I had to learn for myself. Like, when do I hold on to relationships? How have I karmically held on to relationships for far longer, which has become so toxic? However, to also not judge the relationship for all of the positivity that it brought me, and recognize that it only became toxic when I don't make the cut. So, my most recent relationship, the reason why I would say that it really was just 85% healthy is because the split was made, okay? After 4 months or so, the relationship cut. It broke apart, allowed it to be let go, allowed myself to recognize that I can't control X, Y, and Z. Allow myself to just sit there, observe, see what's happening, and recognize that, there are some forces that are bigger than me. There are some forces that are more aligned with my future self than what I think I want now, all right? And recognizing that I can, cliche or not, choose how I want to display or live within my attitude, in response to the breakup, okay? So this is critical, where if I held on, like a Scorpio would do, fixed sign, if I held on to what I think I wanted rather than what was greater coming for me, a big classic Scorpio trait. You want to create an incredible sex life, Scorpio Rising or Ascendant, you got to check in with the fact that you are possessive. You can be controlling, all right? I am possessive, I can be controlling. And when I had to recognize that this relationship stayed in that space of healthy, because what it was teaching me was how possessive and how controlling I have been karmically, which is why I kept attracting the type of partners that I kept attracting. And to not get vindictive or fucking, batshit crazy afterwards to prove that, that you don't know pain. You know what I mean? That you don't know trauma, you don't know pain, you don't know hurt, but I'm gonna show you. And it's like, it's not my job to teach somebody that. It's not my job to dish out any of these actions as a form of judgment on another person. It's not my job to do that. That's the tough part for Scorpios to let go. You want to create an incredible sex life, you gotta stop controlling people from that level and recognize the difference from that version of control, dominance, and also even assertion. Mars is your ruler, part of assertion, right? And the difference of like the give take, what I was talking about earlier, is like, it's okay to sit there and say something like, I want you to suck my clit. What? Gladly, right? Because earlier I used the example of like suck my dick, right? And like this one's like, suck my clit. So like equality in a sense, right? Check in with the fact that you are a feminine energy Scorpio and Taurus on the Descendant. So Taurus Rising, Scorpio Rising, you are a feminine energy. Chaos is a part of your lifestyle, all right? Chaos is a part of your expression. Make sure you find a partner who definitely allows, without judgment, without criticism, without insecurities, who allows you to assert yourself sexually, because you're here to transform that unseen emotions that you really probably can't even fully process or express to your partner who you are devout in love, until you have sexual intercourse. I think this is one of the reasons why sex is a part of the Scorpio 8th house, because this is just real. Like, you express your identity and you express your feelings and your emotion to somebody through the act of sex, and your partner may want you to express this verbally more. Depending on the rest of your astrology charts, I had to recognize that in some capacities, like, my actions are just the ones that speak louder, and I had to learn to be okay with that. And I'll also recognize of how I may fear intimacy by not having some conversations, or by being able to objectively, because I have a Gemini Venus, right? I've been able to objectively speak about my attachments or my pleasures, but be emotionally kind of disconnected for it. And that's a whole nother level. But finding a balance between, you know what, part of me is just my actions. Like, that's just who I am. My actions are where my integrity lies. My words change. You know what I'm saying? Like, verbally, my words change. Verbally, my mind changes. I have Mercury in Aries, and my mind is super quick, super curious, super fast. Gemini and Venus is a super fucking flittery and yada yada. But what does not change for me is my actions. My actions are always in integrity. Not that my words are not. It's just a matter of that my words change. And I had to learn this through my last relationship. So, you know, spend the time. You want to create an incredible sex life, Scorpio Rising. You need to spend the time focusing on what parts of your relationship what you're more grateful for. All right? Stop. And I talk to myself trying to demonize your partner. I need to stop demonizing my partners. Spending all my fucking focus and energy on somebody that's not even there anymore about, you know, blame. No, fuck it. Let that shit go. I'm talking to myself as well. Let that shit go. And, you know, recognize that there's more for you. You already know on the other side of the dark, there's light. You already know that if you allow yourself to transform, ooh, let it sit. If you allow yourself to transform, you're going to fucking win. Now, let's say you're not in this space of committed partnerships. Mars and Pluto, baby. Mars and Pluto is your governing planet. You know, you could really be fucking around with people in between. You know you're not devout. You're really honest. You're really bold and brave. No one else is really going to still fucking know what your sexual encounters are looking like in between committed partnership. But, you know, you fucking freak. You're dating a Scorpio Rising or Scorpio Ascendant, you're fucking freak. Especially with the Taurus on the 7th house. They want that sensual touch, baby. They want to be touched. They want to sensually be loved, wined and dined. I think the big difference is when you find yourself committed to somebody, you're willing to look at sex as a more ritualistic practice, right? I find myself one of the last encounters putting crystals, gave them a massage, lit the candles and shit like that, right? And had crystals going down in different chakra points on my lady's back. And then go ahead, give the massage. Go ahead, ask for permission. Like, do you mind if I step inside of your temple? And I will legit say something like that. And before I do, to just ask, like, you know, what is your intention for this sexual encounter? All right, for this sexual connection. And this is where the devout magic and spiritual fucking, let's say this is where the sex magic happens. All right, where you get to create. This is Scorpio's mastery. They're masters at this shit. And so they're adding a spiritual piece in, which helps them to understand their emotional world and understand their feelings for the person that they're committed to. With the Taurus 7th house now bringing in the physical pleasure, like, look, we still are human beings, and pleasure does not need to be continuously denied. We just need to learn how to look through our natal chart, take a natal reading with me, one-on-one, work in with me, and we still need to be able to enjoy the pleasures without making ourselves feel like go through and experience shame or guilt because it doesn't work with the religious backing of your family, or guilt or blame or whatever because, you know, this past relationship somebody told you something that wasn't true and they were basically looking to lower your power in order to raise themselves. We need to let go of those narratives. So that's how you are in a devoted space. But in between, when you're not in that committed space, like, yo, you fucking nasty. Like, I'll be honest, like, I'm nasty. And private, all right? Not secretive. So just to let go of the secretive narrative, like, we're not secret, we're private. There are only a few people that get to experience the full depth of spiritual and physical love that the Scorpio is able to provide somebody else, all right? Spiritual and physical love. The Scorpio Rising Ascendant and the Taurus 7th house, all right? I guess this is where I want to end it. I can always go on and on and on, but this is Pernell Bobby, all right? Your local sexologist, checking in, helping you by asking you to help me as well to subscribe to this channel. But I'm helping you create that incredible fucking sex life. I'm helping you leverage astrology, doing it, all by finding your more intuitive and dynamic strategies of how you need to approach sex. So hopefully this video, as for Scorpio Rising, was very beneficial so you can understand the deeper parts of your recesses. Maybe you picked up some new information. Drop down in the box below what that new information looks like. If you're a Scorpio, check in with the Scorpio emoji or the Taurus emoji. Definitely join my next workshop. October 17th, 2021 is going to be a donation-based workshop teaching you how to take your sexual energy, rise that up your spine, this is a big joy for me. And yeah, thank you for your subscription. Thank you for this 1,000+ subscribers. You really are the reason that I am being able to survive around the world, because people are coming in here. Most of my clientele is from YouTube, and this is just fucking incredible. It's a dream come true. It's a dream come true, and I thank you. I thank you tremendously. I'll see you soon. Check out plenty of my other Scorpio content. I'm going live soon on karmic relationships and how they look, how you can overcome them, how you can understand what you're supposed to derive and take from them. So stay tuned for that as well. Pernell Bobby, your local sexologist. Subscribe!